Shh! It's a secret between Joseph, Mary, and God. In the tranquility of my house, let's meditate on the role of Saint Joseph in the plan of the salvation of God. The Gospel of St. Matthew, chapter 1, verse 16, we find that Jacob begot Joseph, the husband of Mary, from whom Jesus was born, called Christ. Later, in Matthew 1:18, we find that her mother, Jesus' mother, Mary, was betrothed to Joseph, and before they began to be together, she was found pregnant by the work of the Holy Spirit. So we wonder, is Jesus the son of God, or the son of Joseph, or the son of David? In the Mass, actually, we sing, Holy, Holy, as Matthew chapter 21, verse 9 says, and the crowd that went before him and that followed him shouted, Hosanna to the Son of David. Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Hosanna in the highest. This could be confusing. Fortunately, our Catholic Church has thousands of prominent exegetes who have explained the Holy Scriptures for 2,000 years, and they are solving all type of doubts of faith we have. Protestants interpret that before they, Mary and Joseph, began to be together means that afterwards they could be together, although that is not reflected in the Bible. But in their interpretation, their deduction, their imagination, ignorance is bold, audacious. In the same chapter 1, verse 19 of St. Matthew, we read, her husband Joseph, seeing he was just and didn't want to expose her, he resolved to put her away in secret. According to the Jewish culture to which Jesus and Joseph and Mary belonged, if the fiancée of a man got pregnant by another before marrying, the logical thing is that he could be filled with anger and denounce her to the authorities so that the woman would be stoned. I could imagine her own neighbors throwing stones at her until killing her. It was a horrendous scenario. Dantesque, indeed. But it did happen eventually. However, Joseph didn't want to do it because he was a just man. In the chapter 1, verse 20 of the Gospel of Matthew, it's great. But as he considered it to abandon Mary, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared to him in dream, saying, Joseph, son of David, do not fear to take Mary your wife, for that which is conceived in her is of the Holy Spirit. Joseph understood that he was not the father of the child he was going to raise. It also was understood that the man who takes the responsibility for the belly and the child that will be born is considered the husband of the woman in question. St. Paul, in his letter to the Galatians, chapter 4, verse 4, tells us, when the fullness of time came, God sent his son, born of a woman, born under the law. God made it clear to Joseph when he informed him through the angel. In other words, it was a secret between Joseph, Mary, and God. Of course, the angel as well. So it should remain as a secret until his death. Joseph couldn't have intimacy with the wife of God, the woman of God, the chosen one of God. Simple, because it could be missing at least 2 commandments. You shall not commit adultery, and you shall not covet your neighbor's wife. And not a simple one, but God himself. It's very clear that Joseph could never admit to the Judaic society that the son of Mary was not his child, much less he was going to spread the word the father of the child was God. Obviously, he was going to be considered as a crazy guy. In fact, they were going to crucify him first than Jesus. Remember that Jesus was sent to the cross for admitting to being the Son of God. Joseph was going to say it first. Then he was going to be the first crucified for uttering such blasphemy. In addition to consider him a fool who was raising the son of who knows who. In my tongue, They could have sung, "May they do not be on the corner, el venao for sure." Venao is a deer in Spanish. It's a funny but very sassy way certain people call the man who has been cheated by his wife. Let's continue. In the same Gospel of St. Matthew, chapter 1, verse 24, we read, "When Joseph woke from sleep, he did as the angel of the Lord commanded him. He took his wife." Joseph understood that his purpose in his life was to protect God's son forever, and his wife. The wife of who? Joseph. But only and strictly only in the eyes of that society, the same current society of enemies of the faith that don't know the role of God between Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. He had the clarity that he had to keep her intact because she was the one chosen by God among all the women of humanity, forever and forever. No, as the Protestants say, his legal wife with whom he could later have at least 6 more children. Assumption denied in the same scriptures because it never says any word about the children of Mary. Simple. She didn't conceive more than Jesus through God, through man. Joseph had a direct connection with God to ensure the protection of the child God. We can see this by reading Matthew chapter 2, verse 13. After they left, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in his dream and said, "Get up, take the child and his mother with you and flee to Egypt and stay there until I tell you, because Herod is going to look for the child to kill him." Also in Matthew chapter 2, verse 19, Herod dead, the angel of the Lord appeared in a dream to Joseph in Egypt and said to him, "Get up, take with you the child and his mother and go to the land of Israel, for those who sought the life of the child have already died." Anything different that the enemies of the faith want to add to the role of Joseph, Jesus' adoptive father, and Mary's substitute husband, they are nothing more than calumnies, which they will respond when they come face to face with Jesus, with Mary, and for sure with Joseph. Thank you for your time. Blessings.